Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please start to take your seats, please. We will start promptly in 5 minutes. Please silence your cell phones as well. We would appreciate it. And for the only housekeeping note, if you need the restrooms, they are out the door, down past the registration table on the right. All right, thank you. All right, welcome to the 2025-2026 National Signing Day for the Talent Pipeline Program. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the advancement of the colors and the singing of the national anthem. Advance the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Cup, shoulder, on.
Retire the colors.
Colors, turn, march. Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon. On behalf of the United States Navy, the Direct Reporting Program Manager for Submarines, the Submarine Industrial Base Program Office, our 618 employer partners, 20,839 new hires, our facilitators, training providers, flag sponsors, TMG, and the entire Talent Pipeline Program Management team, welcome to the 2025-2027 National Talent Pipeline Program National Signing Day. My name is Kevin Bartow, and I serve as the Deputy Program Leader for the U.S. Navy Talent Pipeline Program, and I'm honored to be with you today. Today is about recognizing an entire team, celebrating 5 years of progress, and launching the future of the Talent Pipeline Program as we continue our search for the answer to a simple but powerful question: how good can we really be? Before we get started, I would like to recognize our official party, Mr. Matt Sermon, Executive Director to the Direct Reporting Program Manager for Submarines, Rear Admiral Todd Weeks, Director In-Service Submarines and Industrial Base, and Captain Kevin Mahler, Program Manager for the Submarine Industrial Base Program Office. And also to our regional sponsors, deputy sponsors, and industry advocates in attendance today. Thank you all for your steadfast commitment to the Talent Pipeline Program and to the workforce that powers our nation's maritime industrial base. What is represented in this room today is truly something special. Across America, employers, government leaders, workforce organizations, training providers, and industry partners have aligned around a mission greater than any one organization, company, or individual. The result of that alignment is what we see here today. This year, we celebrate 5 years of impact. 5 years ago, we launched the Talent Pipeline Program with a bold vision to fundamentally transform how American employers attract, hire, develop, and retain talent by putting people at the center of the mission. One lesson became clear very quickly. There is no silver bullet when it comes to building the workforce our nation needs. Trust me, if there was, we would have bought it, wrapped it up, given it a catchy acronym, and rolled it out nationwide 5 years ago. Instead, what we did find was something much more powerful. We found organizations struggling with inconsistent hiring practices, early turnover, unclear definitions of what fit really meant, and a lack of repeatable systems to develop and retain talent. When we dug deeper, we found that inside these organizations there were two types of leaders: those who talked about the challenges and those who chose to own them. The employers who chose to own them are the reason why we are here today. And let's be clear, owning the problem did not mean adding another meeting to the calendar and hoping the problem went away. It meant changing behaviors, systems, and leadership practices. You decided that your workforce challenges were not someone else's responsibility. You decided that improvement starts with leadership. You decided that if change was going to happen, it had to start with you. And because of that commitment, you are changing the trajectory of your organizations, your communities, and our nation's industrial base. You are our why. You are why this team gets out of bed every morning and continues this mission. These employers recognize that talent acquisition and retention could no longer be treated as isolated HR activities. They had to become systems by design. We had to shift from an HR problem to a leadership responsibility, from focusing on skills first to fit first, from hiring people for jobs to developing people for careers. As we often say, hire for fit, train for skill. At the beginning of this journey, Admiral Papano and Mr. Sermon gave us simple guidance. We are a program of yes. If an employer wants help and they're willing to do something different to increase their capacity to the Navy, go help them and send us the bill. For the last 5 years, that guidance has shaped everything we do. And today, the results speak for themselves. For those of you that have been in the program for a few years, you know we ask you for a little data. Not just a little data, that data tells an important story. Since the program's inception, employer partners have generated almost 21,000 hires while achieving an average first-year retention rate of 72%. During the 2025-2026 program year alone, 618 employers across 39 states generated more than 7,700 new hires with an 83% average retention rate. That's impact. That's moving the needle. But these numbers represent far more than metrics. They represent lives changed, families supported, teams strengthened, businesses transformed, communities empowered through meaningful careers and economic opportunity. And ultimately, a stronger and more resilient workforce contributing directly to our nation's security and prosperity. As we celebrate this year's accomplishments, it's important to remember why this work matters. Every new hire recognized today, every employer partnership celebrated, every success story shared contributes to something larger than ourselves. Our sailors can only sail the ships we build. Our submarines can only deploy when skilled Americans design, manufacture, maintain, and modernize them. Building our workforce is building our national security. And our next speaker understands that connection as well as anyone. From commanding a nuclear-powered submarine to leading some of the Navy's most critical acquisition and industrial base initiatives, he has spent his career ensuring that our fleet has the people, resources, and capabilities needed to succeed. Today, as Director of In-Service Submarines and Industrial Base, he helps lead the effort to strengthen the workforce, suppliers, and the industrial capacity the Navy requires to meet the challenges of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rear Admiral Todd Weeks.
Wow, it is just incredible to be here today and see all of you and just to reflect on just all the things Kevin was just talking about and all the great work that has occurred throughout this nation to get us here today and all the great things that have happened. So thank you all for coming today. It is a real pleasure to see everybody. I also want to thank the Talent Pipeline program leadership and the TMG team for all their hard work putting together not only today's ceremony, but all the things that go in and day out to make this program real and as impactful as it is. More importantly, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the new hires that we're celebrating today and the employers that have brought them on and made them part of your families. You truly are part of the solution and part of the future of our submarine force. I frequently get stopped, matter of fact, on the elevator on the way up here on the 13th floor, and thanked for my service. You know, I wear a uniform. It's obvious that I support our nation and its national defense. But just as important as our sailors are all of you that work in our industrial base, that the labor, you know, day in and day out to build these fine warships that are our submarines, maintain those ships. And so you are just as important as those of us that wear the uniform. And I want to thank you for your service and for all that you do for our great nation. The people in this room represent, and Kevin went over some of these statistics, but I'm going to go over them again just because they're so important for us to remember. So the people in this room represent significant growth in the Talent Pipeline program. So the TPP grew from 452 employer partners last year to 618 employer partners across the nation, with 222 of these just completing their first year in the program. That is some pretty incredible growth. These employers generated 7,709 new hires during the program year, which surpassed last year's pretty impressive number of 7,494. So really, really good growth. But we're not there yet, right? So our Navy goal, the goal that Matt Sermon and Scott Papano set years ago, which still rings true, which is we need to hire 140,000 new workers to support our submarine industrial base over the next decade. The challenge is great. So Vice Admiral Rob Goucher, who is the direct reporting portfolio manager for submarines, recently told our industry partners that our submarine industrial base has the capacity to theoretically achieve 65 million hours of work a year if the system operates at peak capacity. That's short of the 70 million hours a year we need to build 1 Columbia and 2 Virginias every year. And it is well short of the goal that we're working towards, which is 100 million hours a year to dig out of the backlog of work, to support our AUKUS commitments, and to build a stockpile of spares and more to support the submarine force. Admiral Goucher also remarked on our submarine maintenance capacity. Even if we execute all of our submarine maintenance availabilities perfectly, so we order the material early, it shows up when promised, our yards were fully staffed, we avoid all rework, and face no barriers and no emergent and unexpected work, we're still only able to get to 75% of our attack submarines being ready and available for the nation's bidding. That's short of our stated Navy goal of 80% of our forces being combat surge ready. In short, we need significantly more capacity in the submarine industrial base to do more construction and more maintenance. And none of that growth and capacity can occur without a dedicated, energized, well-trained workforce. And that is why we're here today. We need people to do the traditional shipbuilding tasks, electricians, welders, plumbers. We also need people who can do emerging work, managing a fleet of welding robots instead of using the welding torch themselves, operating a 3D printer instead of pouring metal, using lasers instead of paint scrapers, and leveraging data analytics and artificial intelligence to support non-destructive testing and quality assurance work. We need these people all across this nation. I'm not just concerned about the workforce in Norfolk or Portsmouth, Puget Sound, Pearl Harbor, Kings Bay, or Bangor. I'm not concerned about the workforce in Groton or Newport News. Not just worried about them, I should say. We need workers in every region of the country as we distribute shipbuilding and ship repair work now more than ever. And underneath these statistics I rattled off into total capacity lies another layer of complexity. Not only do we want to grow the capacity within our shipyards, both public and private, We also want to increase our strategic outsourcing, which essentially is moving manufacturing work away from those shipyards and out into the industrial base with capable, qualified partners, right? So we are growing from 4 million man hours or so a year that we do today to 13 million man hours in 2029, on our way to 20 million man hours a year into the future. So we're committed to increasing the outsourcing on the sustainment side as well. So pushing out work such as component repair, painting, tank repairs, so to free up the personnel on our public naval shipyards, as well as our Trident refit facilities, to focus on getting submarines out of the maintenance on time or early. This means that we not only need more workers, we need them in more distributed locations. That means our regional partnerships like our TPP flags, plus our cross-country efforts like TPP Frontier and TPP Enterprise are pivotal to creating this distributed, dispersed workforce to support our manufacturing needs. Already since its inception in 2021, TPP employer partners have hired workers in 39 states. We need to see that continue as we outsource more work in the coming years. Now I'll turn the microphone over so we can move on to honoring the men and women who are committing to serve our Navy via our industrial base. And I hope that you'll all take away from my remarks that the task to grow our construction and maintenance capacity is great. And closing that gap is intrinsically tied to growing our workforce. Thank you again for being here today, and thank you for what you do to support our Navy and our nation.
Thank you, Admiral Weeks. You've reinforced why this mission matters. Now we'd like to show you what it looks like in action. My name is Vince Jordan. I'm going to guide us through the next few acts of the show today, and we've broken it down into a number of chapters to make it easy for us. So before we begin, I'd like to tell you about this experience. Our opening act was Act 1, where we had the introductions. We kind of set the stage for the mission and the purpose of this thing called the Talent Pipeline Program. Now we're moving into Act 2. Over the next several chapters of this act, we're going to travel across the story that is the Talent Pipeline Program. From the region where this journey began to some of the largest manufacturing and shipbuilding communities in the nation, and ultimately to the employers and workforce partners stretching across the country. Each chapter tells a story. The story of employers who embraced the challenge of attracting, developing, and retaining the workforce needed to support the maritime and defense industrial base. The story of leaders who committed themselves to building stronger teams, stronger cultures, and stronger businesses. And most importantly, the story of people whose lives have been changed because an employer chose to invest in them. As we visit each flag, you'll hear about the progress made this year, the employers who are leading the way, the diverse workforce supporting our industry, and the teammates who represent the future of America's manufacturing workforce. You'll meet the flag leaders and network coaches who guide this work every day. You'll have the opportunity to recognize the employers who have committed themselves to continuous improvement. And you'll hear directly from new teammates whose stories remind us why this work matters. Because while the metrics are important, the true measure of success is found in the lives being changed and the communities being created across the industrial base. So let's begin Act 2, where the journey started. Please join me as we visit the Philadelphia flag and welcome to the podium my friend, the Philly flag leader, Leilani Hilton.
Thank you, Vince. I'll lower this down. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many employer partners, family members, new teammates here as we celebrate the people behind the workforce of our defense industrial base. 5 years ago, in the Philadelphia flag, the Talent Pipeline Program began as a workforce initiative focused on helping employers find and keep talent. Today, the Philadelphia flag has grown into one of the largest and most collaborative workforce networks supporting our nation's industrial base. This year, 108 employer partners worked together to strengthen our workforce. Together, we've welcomed more than 1,375 new hires, approximately 81% first-year retention across the Philadelphia flag. Even more exciting is out of the 80 hiring employers, 22 have retained between 50 to 80% new hires. 56 of those employers retained at least 80% or above, and of those, 35 employer partners have reached 100% retention. That's real progress, and it happens because employers are investing in their people. Our employers stopped trying to solve workforce challenges on their own. Instead, they started sharing ideas and learning from each other and working together to build a stronger company and a stronger defense base. And that's what this program's all about. One employer that represents the spirit is Barron Manufacturing. Like many companies, Barron Manufacturing was faced with early turnover and challenges finding local talent. Working alongside their network coach, they implemented their world-class first day, creating stronger connections with new employees, setting clear expectations, and helping people feel like they belong on their first day. Since July 2025, Barron welcomed 8 new full-time teammates, retaining 100% of them, and also investing in workforce initiatives by bringing in student interns. That isn't luck, that's success, and the result of leaders who are investing in their people. Because we've learned something important. Retention doesn't start after onboarding. It starts the moment someone walks through those doors. And while we're proud of the numbers, every number represents a person, an opportunity, a family, a future. And you all will be able to read more about these testimonials in our annual yearbook. Tonight, I'd like to introduce one of those stories tonight. Please join me in welcoming Lorenzo Lenarducci.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo Lenarducci. I'm a part of Schmidt Industrial Services. I'm a new hire sales engineer. I was looking for a company that I wouldn't just have a job for, but somewhere I could have a career and actually grow. I didn't want to be a cog in the system. I wanted to be a part of the team where I'm actually doing stuff.
We hired Lorenzo 6 months ago, and he has been a great addition to the team. He was selected because he demonstrated a strong combination of technical capability and problem-solving skills.
I luckily had a lot of people around me with a lifetime's worth of experience in this space, and I was fortunate enough to be able to ask any question, silly or not, and they'd give me a straight answer and really try and teach me.
One thing about him is he's not afraid of asking questions, and there's no such thing as a stupid question. I would hire him 10 more times. If I could clone him, I would do that.
And what I tell my friends, what I tell my family, we're a part of something bigger always. We're a part of transportation. We're a part of the maritime infrastructure with the stuff we do with the ships. We're a part of that, and I think it's really special.
I love Enzo's story. It reminds me of what we do and why we do it. People aren't just looking for a paycheck, they're looking for purpose, and they're looking for opportunities to grow, and they want to know that what they do matters. Enzo found the opportunity with Schmidt Industrial Services, where he joined the team that invested in him, challenged him, and connected his work to something much larger than himself. Across the Philadelphia flag, thousands of people are building careers to strengthen their families, support communities, and help build the workforce that keeps our nation's industrial base strong. And that's something we're celebrating. Enzo's here tonight, along with a few other new hires representing the Philadelphia flag, Anthony from Schmidt and Kayla from DeVal. I encourage everyone to seek them out and learn about their journey. And before I close, I'd like to recognize the people that make this possible. When announced, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up to be recognized. First off is our network coaches in attendance, which is Desiree Klein, Matt Whitman, Becky Becker, don't be shy, Cindy Eshelman. Oh, I'm not done. Stay standing, team. Our employers in attendance are Secan Electronics, Hanawa Philly Shipyard, Schmidt Industrial Services. Stand up, guys. Don't be shy. DeVal Lifecycle Support, Precision Custom Components, Kingsbury, GGS Information Services, Rhodes Industry, and Johnson Control Federal Systems. And I'd also like to send a special thank you to our flag sponsor, Mr. Matt Sermon. Now that's my kind of standing ovation. In addition, I'd like to recognize Matt Whitman, who will be taking over the Philadelphia flag. Everyone keeps saying that you have big shoes to fill, but it's kind of funny because I only wear a size 6. Seriously, though, it's been a pleasure working alongside you, and I know that Philadelphia flag is in great hands. Thank you all for believing in the mission and investing in our America's workforce. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Renee McNichols, the Hampton Roads flag lead.
Good afternoon. As Lonnie shared, my name is Renee McNichol, and I'm proud to lead the Hampton Roads flag, representing one of the Navy's most strategically important manufacturing and shipbuilding regions. If Philadelphia proved the Talent Pipeline program could work, Hampton Roads demonstrated it could scale. This year, Hampton Roads engaged 89 employers, welcomed more than 1,400 new hires, and achieved approximately 85% first-year retention. Across the region, employers recognized that workforce challenges were limiting growth, increasing pressure on existing teams, and impacting their ability to meet customer demand. Rather than tackling those challenges independently, they chose to collaborate, share best practices, and invest in long-term solutions. One Hampton Roads employer that embraced this challenge was Craft Machine Works, a key supplier to the U.S. Navy's submarine industrial base. Facing issues attracting and retaining talent, the company partnered with their coach, Allison Austin, and implemented several best practices designed to strengthen hiring, onboarding, leadership development, and employee engagement. What they discovered was that retention begins before day one. By clearly defining expectations, investing in leadership, and creating a stronger onboarding experience, Craft improved retention, increased employee referrals, and built a workforce more connected to the company's mission and culture. Their experience demonstrates something we have learned across Hampton Roads. Creating strong workplaces is not simply about filling positions. It is about building environments where people can succeed, contribute, and see a future. The result is more than strong recruiting and retention. It is stronger teams, stronger businesses, and increased capacity to support the maritime industrial base. But numbers and metrics, much like Philly, only tell a part of the story. Behind every hiring number is a teammate and a future being built. One of the best examples of that impact can be found in the story you are about to see. Meet Cassandra Blythe from Advex.
In 2023, I was embarking on a new normal with the support of my peers and mentor. I was building my skills and confidence.
She's curious. She's always asking questions on how to do better at her job.
Today, I look back on those times and see how far I've come. Where I once froze and was too in my head when tasked with a big job, I now visualize the finished product and get to work.
Everything that she does has quality. There's never any markups, no issues with her jobs. She does everything to the highest standard that we can hold her to. Always
striving for first-time quality. It makes you better. In my mind, I put my own family on that ship. And at that moment, I realized how important my job is. It is a responsibility I take very seriously. Together, we are shaping their experience, and at the same time, contributing positively to bolstering the workforce, our communities, and trades. We still have work to do, but every step forward is a victory for all of us. We're building a legacy.
Cassandra's story reminds us that this work is more than about hiring people. It's about helping people discover their potential. Across Hampton Roads, employers are investing in not only recruiting talent, but creating environments where teammates can learn, grow, and build confidence in their abilities. At Advex, Cassandra found a team that challenged her, trusted her, and provided opportunities to develop new skills. In return, she embraced those opportunities and continues to grow both personally and professionally. Her story represents thousands of new teammates across the maritime industrial base who are proving every day that when people are given the chance to succeed, they often exceed expectations. People may be hired for their skills, but they stay because they feel valued, supported, and connected to something larger than themselves. At this time, I'd like to recognize the people who make this work possible every day. First, our flag sponsor, Rear Admiral Todd Weeks. And if all of our Hampton Roads employers would please stand, Advex Corporation, you guys don't be shy, the Hiller Companies, Bush Vacuum Solutions, Technico, Riggins Company, Oceaneering, and Bauer Compressors. And remain standing. I'd also like to recognize the coaches that help support these employers day in and day out. Ross Koenig, Jen Romine, Allison Austin, Alex Nahn, and Takesha Barber. Please join me in recognizing these employers. I'm sorry, new hires, please stand with your employers too. I'm not sure if I announced that or not. You guys are why we're here today, so new hires, stand up. New teammates, coaches, thank you for your investment in people, partnership, and your commitment in strengthening America's workforce and supporting the maritime and defense industrial base. Let's give them a round of applause. Together, you all are building stronger teams and the workforce our nation needs for the future. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Pittsburgh flag leader Joey Pettit to the podium.
Thanks, Renee. So, Pittsburgh is a phenomenal region. Our area, the Pittsburgh flag, covers 2,200 square miles. Everything from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, out through Akron and Cleveland, Ohio. Massive, massive area. And we get to see everything from mountains and the Great Lakes to the flat plains of central Ohio, and it is flat if you've never been there. But what we want to talk about today is the performance over the last year. So our flag has had unbelievable performance. As diverse and as spread out as it is, our 88 employers have hired 1,596 or 69 new hires with a 78% retention rate. When we look at holistically in the flag, the progression, the commitment that goes into making these improvements, it comes down to one thing. Employers realize the problem will not solve itself. They have to do work, and these employers are doing work. A couple great examples of that and how they're working together. LP Aero, a small, very small company in Pennsylvania, led by Jim Fry. Very isolated in where they are. They went to a lunch and learn at Schroeder Industries. They manufacture filters. One day, the hiring manager at LP Aero said, "Man, what you guys are doing is amazing. I think we could use this at our little company." So he reached out to John Ciara and said, "Hey, John, can I bring my leaders over to see what you do?" If you've never met John Ciara, he is all about showing everything they do. Fantastic guy. So they linked up, and the learning that happened is unbelievable. But that's just one instance. Another, FS Elliott, led by Everson. Same thing. We went to meet him one day, and he said, "You know, I had an epiphany. I'm sitting here in my big corner office, and I never get to do that because I'm always out on the floor helping the team because that's where it matters. But I'm sitting here, and we're struggling with figuring out AI. We've got our engineers banging their heads. We've got kids who are here as interns banging their heads trying to solve this problem. And I look out the window, and there's another company that's in the program across the street from us. And I thought, what are they doing? So I picked up the phone and called them. And the response was, we are banging our heads on the floor. And he said, you know what? Let's bang our heads on the floor together. Send some engineers over. I'll buy lunch. Let's figure this out. So they put together a Tiger team, and they came up with solutions. Then they said, what else are you guys struggling with? Well, we have this we're struggling with. They put together a Tiger team. It's been an ongoing thing for a year now. Issue after issue, they're working together to solve the problem. That's amazing. That's the magic of this program. We focus on talent acquisition and retention, but what we want to do is work to make employers understand that you're not in this fight alone. This isn't a one-on-one thing. If we all work together, there's plenty of work to be done. We have to come together to get there, and we have to think outside the box. Accutech is a great example of thinking outside the box. Accutech has gone through phenomenal growth, and the attitude of the organization is something that will make you say, they never stop thinking, they never stop challenging, they never stop looking at what could be. Today we're going to hear from Jacob Pitzenberger, a phenomenal story of what thinking outside the box in talent acquisition and retention can get you.
Hi, my name is Jacob Pitzenbarger. I am a CNC machinist at Accutech Precision Aerospace. Started machining in high school, bounced around to a couple shops, ended up getting fired after losing all my jobs. I ended up going to prison, did a year and a half at state, and then ended up getting out of prison, getting clean, doing the program. After coming here, I was treated like family immediately. I was given great resources to training, moments to advance, to show my worth.
Driven. He came in wanting to pursue a career, asked a lot of questions, and just wants to grow in the company.
My first read on him was that he was super helpful. He wants everybody to be successful. He wants to learn, he pushes himself, and that's what we need here at Accutech. He's very experienced and skilled at what he does. And when he talks, he knows what he's talking about. Quality of the parts, 100%. I can guarantee you, I can promise you, just from working with him, that his parts are always 100%. And anything that, any kind of errors that happens on the machine, he's real quick to fix it. A lot of the work goes into the airplanes or the helicopter runs. Does a very good job at that and contributes back to the military. He's more than just a coworker, he's a teammate.
It's been a great journey ever since.
Jacob's story is one of extreme perseverance, commitment, and resiliency. I won't even try to get into it. If you ever have the opportunity to meet him and hear his story, it's something to hear. Those who were at Pittsburgh signing day, they could probably tell you about it. But what I want you to take away from this is don't label people. Don't think because of their past there is no future. Give folks a chance. Accutech did a phenomenal job of saying, hey, let's look at the person and what can we do to help someone else. Jacob is now a drug and alcohol counselor. He commits a significant amount of time to helping those who need help. Let's make our communities better. At the end of the day, if we can help make our communities better, we can help make our nation better. So a couple folks I want to give a quick shout out here to. We have two employers present. Fasteners Unlimited, represented by Jason Sherman here in the front. If you'd like to talk to Jason, he's a BD guy, so brace yourself. And no apologies. And then Accutech is Tom Stanton over, Director of Operations. Please continue standing as we talk about our coaches. Coaches in Pittsburgh are phenomenal. They truly believe that the key to success is understanding what it takes to overcome the people challenges of this business. Because as is often said in this program, the hardest part of running a business is dealing with people. In the military, we kind of get dealt people because we have a personnel center who hands them to us, and we deal with it. out here, you guys kind of have to deal with it a little bit different way. But the coaches truly believe in you. They truly believe in your mission, and they are here to help you. So Crystal McFadden, Erica Freischman, somewhere, I don't know. It's all blacked out up there. I can't see. We got Dave DiNardo, Faith Sanchuk, Bobby. If you need to talk to her, she says Bobby. Abe Bigelow. 3 coaches who can't be here today. Wayne, Corey, Kim Weingardner is her first day of official retired to become a full-time grandmother. So she's at home being a grandmother. And then 3 new coaches coming to the team. Tim, Tom, and John. Finally, we want to identify and give a shout out to 2 of our sponsors who can't be here today. Rear Admiral Adams, he's out doing AUKUS stuff up in Connecticut, said he wished he could be here. Command Master Chief Jeff Hiscox, who you'll hear from later, who's doing the hard part of being in the military and relocating his family. And Senior Chief Alex Lopez is here, and I appreciate your support because Alex is always all over everything that we need. But you guys make it happen. And then finally, new hires from Pittsburgh or any other supporting folks, educators, training providers, facilitators, please stand and a big round of applause. I would be remiss if I didn't point out, effective, what's today's date? July 1st, Crystal McFadden will be the Pittsburgh flag lead. You have a fantastic team who love what they're doing. In the words of Joe Bartow, don't screw this up. So, without further ado, we're going to go to Bo Brewer from New England, where they have lots of lobster rolls, and they are fantastic.
Thanks, Joey. First, New Englanders know a thing or two about the sea. They've been building ships since before the United States even had a zip code. From the historic shipyards of Maine to the advanced submarine base in Groton, New England is anchored in naval tradition. This year marked the launch of the New England Flag's 3rd cohort, bringing together employers, facilitators, training providers, and Navy partners that are committed to continuous improvement in workforce stability. What made this year different was the growing role of our flag's original partners, the plank owners. The plank owners, we saw the plank owners stepping up, helping guide conversations, mentoring new employers, and strengthening collaboration across the network. This year, New England Flag delivered remarkable results, engaging 75 employers, welcoming 778 skilled new hires, and achieving an exceptional 87% retention rate. This is the impact of a connected industrial base working together to strengthen the workforce that supports our Navy, our national security, and our future. Out of the hiring employers this cohort, 20 had between the 50 and 80% retention rate. 38 had over 80% retention rate. 21 of those 38 reported 100% retention rate for the year. Throughout the region, employers increasingly shifted their mindset from solving workforce challenges alone to addressing them together as a regional ecosystem, supporting the maritime and defense industrial base. One New England Flag employer that embraced the workforce challenge was Kennebec Technologies in Maine. Facing ongoing difficulties attracting and retaining talent, the company realized they needed to do something different. Working with TPP, they adopted the Hire for Fit and Train for Skill approach, strengthened onboarding through the world-class first day, and implemented a structured 30, 60, 90-day skills fit assessment. The result was a stronger hiring process focused not just on skills, but on the long-term cultural fit and career opportunities. Kennebec also recognized that the workforce challenge extended beyond the workplace. How do we solve the available and affordable housing issue? Well, I'll tell you. To help attract new talent to the region, they purchased a house adjacent to the facility and renovated it to accommodate 4 new hires at a time. The house is fully furnished and completely free for those new hires for up to 4 months. This allows those new teammates to look for housing, get familiar with the area, while reducing the stress in relocating those 4 months. And this has increased their retention rate significantly. The lesson learned was simple. When employers invest in the whole person, not just the employee, they create stronger teams, stronger cultures, and stronger businesses. Now, across New England, employers have discovered that workforce development is not simply about attracting new talent. It's about creating an environment where teammates can grow, share their knowledge, and build careers that matter. Todd Johnson from Consolidated Precision Products in Massachusetts is one of those teammates.
Our mission is to get parts out the door, and without Todd and his team, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Todd is professional, collaborative, and fun.
I would say he's a great leader.
Todd is a very necessary teammate as far as maintenance and keeping our place running efficiently.
My name is Todd Johnson. I'm the Maintenance and Facilities Manager for CPP Boston. So before I worked at CPP, I was working for HII as the facility manager, and that was the beginning of my career with supporting the Navy.
What I've seen Todd do is think about how do I solve it for now, but also how do I solve it for tomorrow.
I'm most proud of seeing the throughput in the plant, seeing everything work, seeing everybody work together. And for anyone else coming into MIB, I would say, come in the front door, have your boots tied tight, and give it 110% every single day.
Todd's story reflects something we've seen throughout manufacturing. Success isn't built overnight. It's built through the years of commitment, continuous learning, and people willing to invest in one another. Todd represents the pride, professionalism, and craftsmanship that have long defined manufacturing in this region. But he also represents something equally important, the future. Because every experienced teammate who chooses to mentor, every employer who chooses to invest in their people, and every new hire who chooses to build a career in manufacturing helps strengthen not only their company, but the entire maritime industrial base. The New England flag has shown that the strongest workforce isn't built by companies working alone. It's built by people investing in people. And now I'd like to recognize the team that makes this possible. With the New England flag program sponsor, employer partners, and network coaches, please stand. Stand. I'm doing something different than the others. All right, New England program sponsor, Ms. Gigi Lee, Deputy Program Manager for PMS 450, Virginia Class Submarines Program Office. American Steel and Aluminum, with 6 locations across Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. Anchor 3D in Rhode Island. Kennebec Technologies in Maine. Align Precision in Maine, and also our Cohort 4 best practice model. And Element 119 in Connecticut. Network coaches who all make this magic happen: Ryan O'Donnell, back there working the slides, Taylor Parker, Joe Rizzo, Steve Russo, and 2 of our newest teammates, Jordan Sargent and Tracy Havigan. You can be seated. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to strengthen America's workforce, advance the maritime and defense industrial base, and standing together as a team to ensure we continue to meet the challenge ahead. So now, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage the flag leader for Long Island, Damon DJ Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you both for that introduction.
Normally, as a senior enlisted leader in the military, I normally didn't write anything down and go off the cuff, so you don't have to worry about that today. I got some notes in front of me that I'll be using. But what I do learn is when you write notes, you also use a lot of ink. So made a lot of changes following those other flag leaders ahead of me. When people think about workforce development, they often think about filling jobs. What we've learned across Long Island and northern New Jersey is that it's about something much bigger. Building stronger companies, creating meaningful careers, opportunities, and strengthening the industries that power our nation's future. Over the past year, I watched a community of employers come together who understand that workforce development is not a one-time initiative. It's a long-term investment in people, culture, and organizational success. Together, these employers are transforming the way they attract, develop, retain talent, creating a much stronger workforce with outcomes of brighter futures for employees throughout our region. This year, the Long Island Flag engaged in 71 employers, welcomed 258 new hires, with an impressive 89% first-year retention rate, and 21 of those companies maintain a 100% retention rate. What's not shared on this slide is many of the employers in our region have a headcount of 50 or less. What makes this region successful is the way employers have leveraged the power of its network. That through the Talent Pipeline program, manufacturers began sharing best practices, solving workforce challenges together, and discovering new opportunities to support one another's growth. What started as conversations about recruiting and retention evolved into deeper relationships, stronger partnerships, and shared commitment to advancing manufacturing across the region. One employer that embraced that workforce challenge was Titanium Fabrication, a critical defense manufacturer in Fairfield, New Jersey. After struggling to find qualified entry-level talent through traditional recruiting channels, Titanium Fab worked with their network coach, Mr. Rafael Mata, to understand the characteristics of successful employees and identify new workforce opportunities. Rafael connected them with a military veteran recruiting partner and helped them establish a new pipeline of highly qualified candidates. As a result, they strengthened their workforce stability, hire veterans, and develop a more stable approach to recruiting. Their lessons learned were simple. The strongest workforce solutions often come through collaboration, relationships, and the power of the network. Long Island continues to demonstrate when employees invest in continuous improvement, not only within their own organizations, but across the entire network, every company becomes stronger. Perhaps one of the greatest investments an employer can make is into the future of the workforce. The next story I'm about to share, or we're going to see, is a perfect example of that. Let me introduce you to Alec Reese, an employee from Curtiss-Wright Target Rock.
The word I would describe Alec would be consistent.
I think Alec brings humility and a willingness to learn, which I think is super important.
Yeah, one quality I would describe Alec as is a dependable teammate. Hi, I'm Alec Reese. I'm from Centerport, New York. I am an additive manufacturing engineer at Curtiss-Wright. So basically, that was a degree that allowed me to combine manufacturing engineering, design engineering, and weld engineering. I ended up joining Curtiss-Wright when I heard they were very involved, heavily involved with the U.S. Navy. To me, it was very cool. It was very important because they were helping support the defense of our country. I feel that you should be a continuous learner, learn from others, make sure you ask the right questions, and learn from the people with experience. So that then you can apply that to the work you're doing. The part of my job that I'm most proud of, I would say, is the fact that I'm in additive manufacturing engineering, and it's helping to solve issues that we're seeing within the industry for the Navy.
The work that Alec is doing is extremely important for the future of the mission.
Alec's story reflects one of the important lessons learned across the Talent Pipeline program. The future workforce doesn't begin on a new hire's first day. It begins years earlier when employers chose to invest in relationships, career awareness, and opportunities for growth. What was not shared in the video is that Alec ran into the HR manager of Curtiss-Wright Target Rock several years prior at a career fair. They kept that connection together, and now Alex is working for him as a successful employee. He also represents what's possible when those connections are made and what began as an introduction to an employer became an opportunity to build a meaningful career supporting one of the nation's most critical industries. The Long Island flag isn't just building a workforce, it's building the next generation of innovators, problem solvers, and leaders who will carry the mission forward. At this time, I would like to recognize all those who make it possible. Our flag sponsor, Ms. Stephanie Link, thank you for your support over this last year. We definitely appreciate you. And to my team, I couldn't do it without my team. As I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Xenia Amingatslu, Don Balducci, Bob Curtis, Rafael Mata, Jeff Stern, and our teammate Bill Z couldn't be here today. I want you all to know that I appreciate your dedication, commitment, and thank you most for letting me be your leader over the last year. Thank you. You may be seated. A round of applause. At this time, it's my honor to introduce Mr. Bill Miley, the Southern California flag leader.
Thank you, DJ. The Southern California flag, or the Talent Pipeline Program, expanded westward and evolved into a truly regional workforce ecosystem. What began primarily in San Diego and Los Angeles has now grown across California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii, bringing together employers, educators, workforce organization facilitators aligned around the workforce needs of the maritime industrial base. This year, the Southern California flag engaged 63 employers, welcomed 501 new hires, and achieved an 83% first-year retention. One of the defining moments for the region came when the employers realized they were no longer competing against one another for talent. They were working together to strengthen the workforce that supports our nation's defense. One Southern California employer that embraced the challenge of workforce development was QED Systems. Partnering with the Talent Pipeline Program has allowed access to a diverse pool of candidates and is making a real difference with the QED's retention efforts. Through new hire leadership retention training and the 5th metric scorecard process, the company discovered that workforce success isn't just about hiring and retaining employees. It's about helping leaders better understand and support their teams. The 5th metric scorecard meetings have ensured the supervisors, their heartbeat leaders, are truly connected with their employees. After their first 5th metric scorecard session, a senior leader remarked, "I've learned more about my people in the last hour than I have in the last 2 years." That insight transformed the way leaders engage with employees, resulting in stronger communication, greater trust, and a more supportive workplace culture. QED's continued partnership with the Talent Pipeline Program will contribute to the long-term success of their company, the community, and the maritime industrial base. Their lessons learned was simple. When leaders invest in people, people invest in the organization. The Southern California flag has demonstrated that as we expand westward, success isn't measured solely by geography. It's measured by stronger employers, stronger partnerships, and stronger opportunities for people. One of those stories, the one you're about to see, is with Pedro Tosado of Hydroform USA.
I like everything. It's wonderful, and I think right here was the right place.
So promising would be the one word that would describe Pedro.
I would describe him as hard worker. Quick to learn everything. He was really eager to teach him, and just his attitude towards everything was pretty good.
He's really smart. He's always ready to help.
He's real down to earth, really helpful. He's really a good guy.
I can see that he's trying to help us achieve our goal, doesn't cut corners, and always willing to help any other employee.
helping out each other makes everything better. There's support. Yeah, we make parts for military. It's amazing, like to just know that the airplane flying there, we work on it. We make parts for it. Be patient. Be patient because things it's not gonna happen like in one day. So you gotta give time. If you're really true, if you really believe you can grow in a company, just give yourself some time and things will happen. Good things will happen.
Pedro's story reflects the spirit of growth and opportunity that continues to define the Southern California flag. Like many of the teammates we celebrated tonight, Pedro was looking for more than just a job. He was looking for an opportunity to grow, develop new skills, and build a future. At Hydroform USA, he found a team committed to investing in people, sharing knowledge, and creating pathways for advancement. In return, Pedro embraced the opportunity and continues to challenge himself, both personally and professionally. His journey reminds us that behind every recruiting strategy, onboarding process, and retention initiative is a person striving to create a better future for themselves, their family, and their community. Across the West Coast, employers are helping make those opportunities possible every day. In doing so, they are building the workforce that support the maritime industrial base for generations to come. I would now like to recognize the team that makes this possible. In recognition of our sponsors, Rear Admiral Andy Bean couldn't be with us today, but we have Deputy Sponsor Jason Leto with us today. Captain? We have also Senior Chief Kobe Gardner, couldn't be with us today, but these three gentlemen have truly supported Southern California, the visits to the employers, the outreach, the enablement, and I thank you very much. With respect to our network coach team, we have Josh Rock, Dennis Fitzgerald, Noel Bramus, Dave Duffier, Tom Schultz, Chelsea Gray, and Amelia Gouling. Please stand, network coaches. Representing the Southern California flag, employer partners, we have Hydroform USA, Newton Heat Treat, and Recon Craft. And we have training provider, Machinist College, Machinist Career College. Will you please stand also? Now join me in welcoming back to the podium Vince Jordan.
Thank you, Bill. As we turn the page to Chapter 7, as the Talent Pipeline program expanded across regions, several leading organizations chose to integrate these principles throughout their enterprises. Fairbanks Morse Defense, Trident Maritime Systems, and Leonardo DRS Naval Power Systems each embraced the challenge of strengthening recruiting, onboarding, engagement, and retention across multiple locations and business units. While each organization adopted the model in ways that best supported their culture, their operations, and their workforce needs, all three demonstrated that workforce development is not simply an HR initiative. It's a business strategy and a leadership responsibility. One Fairbanks Morse Defense company that embraced this challenge was Hunt Valve. Facing ongoing difficulty hiring skilled CNC machinists, the team realized they could not simply compete for existing talent. They needed to help create it. By implementing the best athlete profile, embracing the hire for fit, train for skill philosophy, and creating pathways into advanced manufacturing careers, Hunt Valve demonstrated that the best way to solve tomorrow's workforce challenge is to begin building tomorrow's workforce today. At Trident Maritime Systems in Pascagoula, Mississippi, leaders discovered that their workforce challenges were not simply about finding more skilled candidates. They were about finding the right fit. Through stronger leadership engagement, intentional onboarding, and the world-class first day toolset, the team improved retention, strengthened workforce stability, and reinforced the important lesson: you cannot out-hire bad retention. Across Leonardo DRS Naval Power Systems family of companies, leaders have embraced the talent pipeline program process in ways that support their unique business models and operating environments. These employers' experiences have demonstrated that while every location may approach workforce development differently, the commitment to people, growth, and continuous improvement remains the same. One of those stories belongs to Margot Sexton. Please meet Margot from Leonardo DRS Naval Power Systems.
If I could only use one word to describe Margot, it would be determined. From day one joining Leonardo DRS, she has been determined to understand our business and help us grow.
If I could go back to my first day, I would tell myself to, really get to know the business and the organization and the mission, not just at our local sites, but the overall Leonardo DRS business and all the different business units and what they're doing. Because the more you know and the more you get to know the people that are involved in that work, I think the more you understand the impact of our work. And no matter what it is that you do for the organization, it matters.
Margot's story reminds us that workforce development is ultimately about creating opportunities for people to learn, grow, and contribute to something larger than themselves. And while each enterprise employer has approached the talent pipeline program differently, they all share a common belief that investing in people strengthens their organizations, improves business performance, and increases industrial capacity needed to support our Navy and our nation's defense. Tonight, we are proud to share one additional story that represents the hundreds of new teammates who have joined our enterprise employers this year. Please meet Terrence Salas from Fairbanks Morse Defense.
One word to describe Terrence would be dedicated.
His dedication, his quality to work, his attention to detail contributes to the readiness of the Navy ships.
Terrence always shows up on time, prepared, ready to work, and his sense of humor really brings other people around him ready to go to work as well.
I had met Carl Lowry from the Jacksonville Service Center, talked a little bit more with him about the opportunities and positions available down here in Florida, and it sounded like a good opportunity, so I made the jump. It's a very challenging job at times, but I think that it has a big payoff in the end, career-wise. We knock out the 8 hours doing our test runs, and then ship's force, PMs, everyone comes back and they're like, oh man, we didn't have any problems, everything's all great, so that's a pretty good feeling right there in itself. It's the reason I'm here.
Terrence's story reminds us that enterprise growth ultimately happens one teammate at a time. Across Fairbanks Morse Defense, Trident Maritime Systems, and Leonardo DRS Naval Power Systems, leaders have committed themselves to creating stronger workplaces, developing people, and building opportunities for long-term success. While these organizations may support different customers, operate in different locations, and face different workforce challenges, they share one common understanding. Investing in people is the key to long-term success. Would representatives from Fairbanks Morse Defense, Trident Maritime Systems, Leonardo DRS Naval Power Systems, flag leaders, network coaches, employers, new hires, please stand. Thank you for your commitment to strengthening America's workforce and supporting the maritime and defense industrial base. And with that, I would like to invite Kevin Bartow back to the podium.
Tonight we've celebrated a lot of accomplishments. We've celebrated new hires, employers, leaders, partnerships, and if we're being honest, A lot of calendar invites, Zoom sessions, spreadsheets, scorecards. You guys know the drill. But when I step back and look at everything we've recognized tonight, one lesson stands out above all others. National security doesn't begin when a service member reports for duty. It begins in our classrooms, our training programs. It begins in our manufacturing facilities. And it begins when employers choose to invest in people. Because before there can be a submarine at sea, there must be welders, machinists, engineers, planners, inspectors, frontline leaders, and thousands of skilled Americans who show up every day to do work that matters. Every new hire, every employer partner, every leader who chooses to develop people rather than simply fill positions, they are helping ensure America has the workforce and the industrial capacity needed to meet the challenges of tomorrow. And it's fitting that our next speaker has spent his career at the intersection of industrial capacity and fleet readiness. As a former submarine commanding officer, engineer, and acquisition leader, he understands firsthand that readiness depends on people, suppliers, and manufacturing capability working together to deliver the results to the fleet. Today, he leads the Submarine Industrial Base Program Office, helping ensure those capabilities remain strong for generations to come. Please join me in welcoming Captain Kevin Mahler, Program Manager for the Submarine Industrial Base Program Office.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Hey, really excited for the opportunity to be here. The flag presentations were all super impressive. I'm going to apologize in advance. I do not have a video. Maybe next year. I thought that went pretty well. Mr. Sermon, Ms. Link, Mr. Bardo, distinguished guests, employers, partners, and especially those signing today, thank you for your contributions to national security. Earlier in the presentation, Admiral Weeks described our mission. I'm going to discuss a little bit about our capability. I've been in the job 3 months now. Feels like about a year. I've learned that distributed is not merely an industrial strategy, but it's also a travel itinerary for me. I've been energized by what I've seen along the way, the passion, the dedication that people are bringing to shipbuilding, repair, and workforce development, as well as advanced manufacturing. I've seen that commitment in Charleston at Kiel, Leonardo DRS, and at Newport News Shipbuilding Charleston Operations. I saw it at Danville at ATDM, and at the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence, where students, instructors, and technical teams are building both the workforce and the tools this enterprise will need. I saw it across Hampton Roads at Kiwanis, Fairlead, Radiant Forge, and Newport News, and at the Hampton Roads Maritime Training System. Different regions, different missions, different constraints, but the same sense of purpose. In the weeks ahead, I look forward to continuing that learning as I visit many of you in your companies. The geography will change, but the questions will remain the same. What are the constraints? What is working? What isn't? And where can we help? In general, the lessons remain consistent. Capability begins when an intentional employer opens a door, teaches what works well, and offers the room to grow. Some of you are beginning your first career, others are changing course. All of you have chosen work that serves a profoundly important mission. No one arrives here alone. Behind every signature is someone who taught a skill, made an introduction, offered encouragement, or took a chance. Today we recognize them too. I was recently honored to meet Ms. Crystal Lara at Newport News Charleston Operations. Crystal relocated from California to be part of the Submarine Industrial Base effort and train at our Accelerated Training and Defense Manufacturing Center in Danville, Virginia. In just 2 years, she advanced from ATDM graduate to supervisor. Now she's the facility's first female foreman. What's impressive is not how quickly she advanced, but how she's already mentoring others in the trades, holding that same door open for others that have opened it for her. This is how a workforce grows. People gain experience, become leaders, and then reach back to help those others along. I challenge each of you to do the same. Nearly half of all TPP hires enter at the entry level, creating new skilled talent rather than simply moving it between employers. And with a 70% attrition from retirements anticipated over the next 10 years, that is exactly what we need to encourage. Importantly, current in-process first retention is 83%, 11 points higher than at the same point last year. And I will note Long Island had the highest. Long Island. And 188 employers are at 100%. Industry cannot wait until experience is needed and then ordered on demand. It has to be built in advance. So please join me in recognizing the people behind the crucial work. And I'm not going to make people stand. I actually had that in my speech. I wrote it out this morning, and it would seem kind of like a Catholic church service. So, all right, so it's an honor to be here with the signers, the family members, the friends, the educators, the recruiters, the mentors, the supervisors, the employers, the workforce partners, and the TPP teammates. All of you have made today possible. All of you are answering your country's call. All of you deserve a round of applause. A signature belongs to one person, but it rests on a network. This is the human infrastructure behind the industrial capacity and national security. Thank you all for your contributions. To the 735 employers entering the next cohort, welcome. Give people a strong first day. Teach a craft, set clear expectations, help good people see a future with you. To those signing today, we thank you. Your work will travel much further than you'll ever realize. A component made correctly, an inspection performed with discipline, or a repair completed on time now becomes part of a submarine and a part of the confidence its crew will carry to sea. One day, you will point to a boat and say, I helped build that. I helped make sure that it was ready in time. That is not a small thing. It starts with an opportunity. It grows through training, leadership, and hard-earned experience. Over time, it becomes the capacity the fleet depends on. So to all the signers and all those who supported them, your nation thanks you. Because you don't need to, as Admiral Weeks said earlier, you don't need a uniform to serve your country. Be proud of what you're doing. I am. One team, one fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Moeller. Throughout this afternoon, we've traveled across our talent pipeline program, regional flags, and our enterprise flags. We've seen how employers strengthened their talent acquisition and retention systems. We've celebrated regions that transform workforce challenges into workforce solutions. Different employers, different communities, different industries, different journeys. Yet every chapter has reinforced the same idea. When employers invest in people, their lives change. Organizations grow stronger, communities benefit. Together, these chapters that we've gone through today have demonstrated what is possible when workforce development becomes a shared responsibility. But perhaps the most important lesson of all of this is these success stories are not isolated. They're being repeated across the country in large organizations and small businesses, in shipyards and machine shops, in manufacturing facilities, and in engineering organizations. As we begin the final chapter of this act, we turn our attention to the Frontier Flag. The flag that demonstrates this work can succeed anywhere people are committed to a common mission. Representing employers from more than 24 states, the Frontier team proved that workforce development is not a regional challenge, it's a national opportunity.
Something felt different about it.
So it was really an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
As I began the training, I started to feel more confident in my work.
I accepted this position due to their long history working with the U.S. Department of Defense. There are opportunities to grow not only as a company, but on an individual level.
For the first time in years, I actually liked something.
It plays into the core value of being a core part of the production. It means a lot more to me.
Working on parts that serve the U.S. Navy gives me pride in a lot of what I do here.
Love the opportunities of growth that we're seeing.
I know that what I do here matters.
Please join me in welcoming to the podium Bruce Warner, flag leader for the Frontier Flag.
Thank you. Among the 84 employers partnering in the Frontier Flag are organizations that have embraced the challenge of strengthening their workforce and improving their business. They have welcomed over 1,100 new hires this year with a current retention rate of 82%, a remarkable achievement. One example is Specialty Machine, a Texas-based precision machining company supporting the defense and aerospace industries. And they do support the Columbia class. Working alongside the Talent Pipeline Program, Specialty Machine focused on creating a best-in-class first 90 days for new teammates by strengthening onboarding, clarifying career pathways, and increasing employee engagement. The result was 100% retention during the critical first 90 days and a stronger, more stable workforce. Their story reminds us that the workforce excellence isn't achieved by hiring more people, it's achieved by helping people succeed. And tonight we recognize all of the Frontier employers who have made that commitment. So our first employer this evening, if I could get the official party to join me in the center, we will be presenting plaques and challenge coins to our Frontier employees because they have not had their own signing day yet. So our first employer this evening is Specialty Machine, represented by George Perez, President and COO. Also present today are new hires Tanner Armstrong and Rudy Macias, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mispronounce your name. We're happy to announce also that Specialty Machine has 5 new hires this year. Stand here and get a photo op. You guys are tall. This will become the norm. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'd like to call up, before I call our next employer, I'd like to call my network coach, Rachel Rapp, up. She was the network coach for the next couple employers. Our next employer is Carver Machine Works, represented by Lindsay Crisp, President and CEO, and also present today is new hire Crawford Turner, and we're happy to announce that Carver Machine Works has 5 new hires this year.
Not an Eagles hat.
Thank you. All right, our next employer is D&D Enterprises, represented by Jason Davis, the president, and we're happy to announce that D&D Enterprises has 10 new hires this year. Thank you. Go ahead. All right, our next employer is Keel, represented by Sarah Ty. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
And talent acquisition manager. And we're happy to announce that Keel has 129 new hires this year. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd now like to ask my next network coach, Danny Bartow, to come up, please. Our next employer is Scott Forge. Scott Forge is represented by Rob Harlan, owner and learning management and talent development. Also present today is new hire Jonathan Petrick, and we're happy to announce that Scott Forge has 57 new hires this year. Thank you. And our next employer is Hiller Companies, represented by Alex Gershman, Vice President, strategy and value creation, and we're happy to announce that Hiller Companies has 33 new hires this year. Also representing is Simon Thornton, VP of Marine Group.
I thought that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Danny. And the next network coach for the next set of employers is Jonathan Allen. If he could come up, please. Our next employer is Major Tool and Machine. A big thanks to them for hosting our mid-year this year for Frontier. And representing them tonight is Mike Griffith, President, and Kendra O'Brien, Vice President of Human Resources. Also President is Jada Jackson, their new hire. And Major Tool and Machine has 80 new hires this year. Thank you. Our next employer is Phoeves. Phoeves is represented by John Russell, Vice President of Business Development, and they have 133 new hires this year. Thank you. The next Frontier employer is Rank. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Paradigm Industrial. It's my mistake. Our next is represented by Ashley Welch, owner and president, and also president today is a new hire from ATDM, Joanna Clemente. We are happy to announce that Paradigm has 7 new hires this year. And the last Frontier employer this evening is, the next one is Rank. Getting ahead of myself, I'm in a hurry for reception. Represented by Tom Burke, president, and we're happy to announce that Rank has 20 new hires this year. Thank you. Now for the last Frontier employer recognized this evening is Sapita, represented by Keith Hill, Vice President of Operations, and Sherry Landers, Human Resources Manager, and also present today is new hire Noel Shrimkowski, and we're happy to announce that Sapita has 67 new hires this year. Thank you. They're staying, right? Okay. You stay over here? You stand over here? Let me finish up my remarks. All right. Also present today, we want to recognize 2 employers for Frontier that'll be in the next cohort. One of them is American Testing Services. So would Paul Dreerup, and President, and Jay Fullenkamp, Director of Human Resources, please stand. And also with you from Vulcan Elements with Tom Wood, Head of Manufacturing, Farouk Mitha, Business Development, Michelle Garris, People Operations Manager, and Damian Randisi. Learning and Development. Would you all please stand? Thank you for being here, and we're looking forward to working with you over the next year. And at that time, we'll turn it back over to Kevin, right? Oh, all my network coaches were up here. Do I need to recognize them? Okay. Oh. I'm sorry.
I got you. I got you.
It's
Bruce, thank you. Happy hour's coming pretty soon. At this time, I'd like to introduce Noelle Shrimkowski.
Hi, my name is Noelle Shrimkowski, and I'm a welder here at Sapeda. I first discovered Sapeda during my previous job in property management. I crossed paths with the president of Sapeda, and we discussed the company and ATDM. I had plans to attend ATDM in the fall after completing my high school graduation and was curious about future job opportunities within the company. After graduating, I started work at Sapeda in 2025 and have been working as a welder here since.
If I had to describe Noelle in one word, I would say inspiring. I think watching her come into the company, the young girl at 18, not exactly sure what she wanted to do, but she wanted to try welding. And not only did she go off to school, away from home, in a different environment, and excel. She excelled at what she was doing.
Noelle's a good teammate because she hops in and helps make sure that everybody's meeting whatever their current goals and tasks are.
She's very particular about, reading the fine print with things, paying attention to the very small details, which as a welder, that is a very key aspect of your job. Our equipment and stuff we build is mission critical equipment that goes on submarines. And it is life-saving equipment.
Working at Sapeda is very fulfilling. As most of my friends and family have ties to or are in the different branches of the military, I love knowing that my work is still supporting the men and women who serve our country, even if I'm not there on the front lines with them.
Thank you. Please join me in welcoming Sherry Landers to the podium.
Good afternoon. My name is Sherry Landers. I'm the Human Resources Manager with Sapeda Associates. We've been very blessed to be a part of the TPP. As mentioned, we've hired 67 new employees this year. We have doubled in size. Our head count was initially around the 50 people mark. We're currently at 155 people. Thank you. Over the last 2 years that we've been a part of the Frontier Flag and partnering with the TPP, we've hired about 100 of those people just in the last 2 years. And it's thanks to the tools and resources that have been given to us from John Allen and Pete Borden. So we want to continue that growth, continue using the tools provided by the TPP to continue growing our headcount in the mission that we're supporting. So at this time, I would like to introduce Noelle Shrimkowski. You just saw her video, and I think that you're going to really find her story to be a very unique and very inspiring one. So without further ado, Noelle.
Thank you, Sherry. I forgot my notes, so we'll see how this goes. My name's Noelle Shrimkowski, and I've been employed by Sapeda Associates in Louisville, Kentucky for less than a year and a half. I found Sapeda when I was researching ATDM, where I attended and graduated from in December of 2024. When people ask me why I decided to start this career path, a million different answers come to my mind. I have a love for building, fixing, and creating things, and a family with a rich history of service to this country. My uncles all served in the Army. My dad was also in the Army, and my great-great-uncles served in World War But the honest answer why I got into this field is I was watching the Super Bowl commercial. So advertising works. And I saw an ad for Build Submarines and was interested in it. I never heard of welding prior to this, but I decided to take a risk and try it. ATDM really gave me the skills I needed to start a career with Sapita, but it also unlocked a skill I didn't know I was capable of. The curiosity that I had for welding turned to a passion for it, and every skill was really fought hard for, and my coworkers at Sapita have mentored me and helped me train helped me grow in a way that really supports the mission we have at Sapita. I met Eric Taylor, the president of this company, prior to ATDM, and he offered me a job there. So I completed my training at ATDM, came back, started a career, and I never imagined where that career would take me. I've had so many opportunities at Sapita. Not only do I perform my job as a welder proficiently, but I've had the opportunity to serve as secretary for Sapita's ESOP committee, obtained a secret security clearance, and have completed my first install on the USS Hartford at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard as the first female on Sapita's field service team. At 9 years old, I was building barns and anything out of popsicle sticks and hot glue. If I could go back in time and tell that 9-year-old girl that in less than 10 years she would be on board a Navy submarine servicing equipment and protecting or helping our sailors out with that, she would be shocked. So I'm grateful not only for everyone who saw a very young girl hungry to prove herself, but also to be here today speaking. Thank you all for believing in the next generation of America's workforce.
Thank you, Noelle. Throughout tonight, we've celebrated employers, partnerships, and programs, but at the heart of everything we've discussed, people willing to learn, people willing to grow, and people willing to answer the call to become part of something larger than themselves. Noelle represents one story. Tonight, we celebrate thousands more. If you are a new hire and have joined this mission as part of this cohort, and you're in this room, we invite you to come up in front of the podium for us. Come on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please help us recognize the next generation of welders, machinists, technicians, engineers, planners, administrators, supervisors, and leaders who are helping strengthen America's industrial base. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what success looks like.
No, you're fine.
So real quick, I want to talk to the new hires. Tonight we have celebrated nearly 8,000 new hires who chose to begin a chapter in their lives and careers by joining the Maritime and Defense Industrial Base. Each one of you represents more than a new hire. You represent new skills, new energy, new ideas, and new capacity that will strengthen our nation's workforce for years to come. On behalf of the United States Navy, our employer partners, and everyone involved in the Talent Pipeline program, thank you for choosing to be part of this mission. Before you all return to your seats, could I please have our official party join me to take part in the time-honored TPP tradition of presenting the game ball to our teammate of the day. This award goes to the teammate who has not only gone above and beyond the call of duty to support this mission, but is an example of what right looks like. And I think we can all agree today, right looks like Noelle Shramkowski. Congratulations, Noelle and the Sapeda team and all the new hires here tonight. You guys can leave. All right, new teammates, you may take your seats. Yeah. This program has never been about a single initiative, a single event, or even a single year. It's about a movement that challenges leaders to think differently, trust their teams, take ownership, and create workplaces where people want to stay, grow, and succeed. And year after year, cohort after cohort, we continue to see leaders step forward and do exactly that. Often when I'm preparing my remarks for these events, I'm reminded of a passage from Arthur Herman's book, Freedom's Forge. In the chapter, Victory is Our Business, Herman describes America's industrial mobilization during World War II. He wrote about the thousands of small and mid-sized manufacturers that made victory possible. In my favorite line in the book, he says, "They carried the spirit of free enterprise like a revitalizing force, with the power to meet the needs of total war without losing their identity or creativity or power of self-renewal." Think about that for a moment. Those weren't giant corporations. They were companies filled with everyday Americans who just saw a challenge, accepted responsibility, and found a way to contribute to something bigger than themselves. When Bill Knudsen, the man who helped lead America's industrial mobilization, looked back on those years, he said he had seen America at its best. I can't help but think about that quote when I see everyone here. Because from the factories described in Freedom's Forge to the shipyard suppliers, manufacturing facilities, classrooms, training centers represented here tonight, that same spirit is alive and well. It's alive in every employer who decided to invest in people, every frontline leader who chose to lead differently, and every workforce professional, educator, training provider, community partner, and new hire who committed themselves to this mission. And it's alive in the belief that when Americans unite around a common purpose, there is very little we cannot accomplish. Which brings us to the question that matters most. Where do we go from here? Fortunately, the person best equipped to answer that question is someone who has been a part of this journey from the very beginning. Many of us know him for his love-hate relationship with the city of Philadelphia.
No love.
He loves the industrial base, hates the sports teams, and is one of the 3 original plank owner champions of this program. Long before there were hundreds of employer partners, thousands of hires, and national signing days, he saw the potential of what this program could become. Please join me in welcoming Executive Director to the Direct Reporting Program Manager for Submarines, Mr. Matt Sermon.
Normally I start with a history lesson, and I will get there, but I have to say them significantly thrown off my game, if I have any, by the last iteration and Noelle and the whole team up here, but particularly your discussion, the whole thing, right? Of Bendis Sapeda. I've seen the incredible work. I've seen this program grow, and not for nothing, but I caught hell from a lot of people in DC, including in Congress, for that Super Bowl commercial. And to hear, I know there's many examples and lots of people saw that, but to hear your story, to see you here, see what you're doing in our industrial base, and to think about that, I kind of need you to either stay or come back and go over to Capitol Hill with me, and I won't talk because my talk over there has not been doing really great lately. You could just tell them that story again. They're gonna say I was lying, but all of you were here and heard it. That was not a plant, nothing like it. But thank you for being here, and thanks for what you're doing in our industrial base. I am going to stick to my history fact, though. It's one that's, I don't know, it hit me as special, though it's, because it makes me think about what we're doing here and how anyone with their mindset to it can change the world. In this case, it was a pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum that changed the world. Because 52 years ago today, in 1974, at a small family grocery in Troy, Ohio, the first universal product code scan was done and completely changed the world. The idea for UPCs came in 1949 from a guy named Joe Woodland. I try to stay away from Joes whenever I can. But I've been utterly unsuccessful. And apparently Kevin's too. But he had this idea, and he really, I looked this up twice because I thought it was BS. He drew out on Miami Beach a set of concentric circles that were the same from any angle that you looked at them. He got the idea from Morse code, and he said, we can use this to identify things, to track things, to be able to like rethink the world's logistics. And it took us just 25 years to make one scan real. And then it took another 6 or 7 years to get past 1 or 2% of the industry using UPC, which everybody uses everywhere now. Approximately 5 million UPC scans happened since I've been talking. And there's a whole bunch of great stories about why it took so long, including that people were like, that's clearly the mark of the beast, which is 100% what my family taught me. But it's actually an incredible small story, but it also jumps right to the kind of thing we're talking about. And by the way, we don't have 25 years. And we're 5 years into this. And the growth, the scale, the retention rates, the improved retention rates, going from 6 to 7 in 10 sticking around for good, I say for good, to 8 to 8.5 sticking around for good. Watching, I'm not saying I never pushed for this, but watching organically now, this program across multiple regions and on the frontier, Sanidia in New England, Hampton Roads Workforce Council efforts, the incredible program at ATDM, churn out talented, thoughtful, willing, hardworking, I was about to say young, but actually the ages vary, Americans who are ready to work and have great careers ahead of them and continue their growth. All of those things, we're moving in the right direction. We are moving the right direction. There is zero cause for too long of a victory lap, though. The blunt truth in a nation that lost 60, 70, 80, depending on the sector, 80 in the sectors that are most important to submarines of its industrial base capacity since the end of the Cold War. That is, if you look writ large at manufacturing in the nation, it's a third, a quarter, depending on how you look at the sectors, of what we were 40 years ago. And we're making a comeback, and there's some moves in the right direction. There's some arrows pointing in the right direction. But the journey, honest to goodness, it's really just starting. The journey back to where this nation has to be to secure the maritime, to secure our economy, the world's economy, which I always say, I believe, and I'd be happy to talk to you for 16 or 17 hours about it, runs today, first and foremost, through submarines, but then runs to a bunch of other concentric capabilities that we have to drive, which, by the way, includes commercial shipbuilding and our ability to take care of our own logistics challenges if we need to, when we need to, and almost as a deterrent, the ability to have commercial capability in the country, around the country, which the frank truth is we do not today. And I can't talk to anyone without saying that. Ask my daughters. They're so excited to hear about it at dinner tonight. I'm sure. I'm quick to say that we have a long way to go. And I'm almost having to remind myself of that as I sit and hear these stories and see tremendous success of the talent pipeline programs and the partnerships have brought us over 20,000 people. I know you heard that. That's probably time number 7 tonight. This program, its partnerships with the other programs I mentioned, its partnerships with employers, it's a linchpin of what we're doing here. And I'm so proud of that. I'll be specific and say, I think there's, and Kevin's heard, both Kevins have heard this. I think there's more we can do when it comes to embracing the community college world and bringing them more fully. We've got some incredible community college partners with the programs, with the workforce programs, investments that we have collectively made in capacity, those kinds of things. But writ large, we are still in a place where embracing them and bringing that community into the maritime industrial base is vitally important. It's relatively easy in Hampton Roads and Southeast New England and the California coast, places where there's heavy Navy presence and heavy industrial presence, although we're behind the power curve there as well, to be blunt, with embracing that part of the educational community. In the rest of the country, including places, hubs of ours, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, California, along the Gulf Coast, in Florida, the community college system has moved on over the past 40 years to nursing, which is important to the nation, to crappy IT people, which are apparently important to the nation. If I offended anybody in that one particular case, fine. That's the only kind I've ever met. Maybe I'm working in the wrong place and there's a whole nother discussion to have there. We must continue that drive. I'll close with reiterating how proud I am of this program. The world-class first day, which I also didn't have with my current employer. Got a computer in 9 short weeks. And that was not in like 1974, that was 2005. I'll leave it at just that one. There's more, right, Gigi? There's more. reflecting on what we're gonna do in our communities, where all the partnerships are. This is what right looks like. And I think that I'm stealing from the Bartos with that quote. This program, the scaling of it, your work in it, our partnerships, this is what right looks like. I honestly have to get out of here before I start feeling too good about where we are on a Friday afternoon, because we have an incredible challenge ahead of us. So again, thank you all for what you're doing, and what a great afternoon, and looking forward to the rest of the evening here, and have a great one.
Thank you, Matt. It's hard to believe we're standing here 5 years later. From the very beginning of the Talent Pipeline program, you've been one of our strongest advocates and champions. Long before the thousands of hires, retention data, signing days, or success stories to point to, you believed this approach could make a difference. You saw the value of investing in suppliers, you saw the importance of employers learning from one another, and most importantly, you understood that building workforce capacity is ultimately about investing in people. Over the years, you've consistently reminded us this work is more than about hiring numbers or program metrics. It's about creating opportunities for individuals, families, and communities while strengthening the workforce that supports our nation's security. The movement we're celebrating tonight exists because of leaders like you, Admiral Papano, and Whitney Jones were willing to believe in a vision before the results were visible. Now, 5 years later, we're seeing that the impact of that belief in employers across the country and in thousands of lives that have been changed through this program. So on behalf of the employers, workforce partners, facilitators, coaches, and thousands of teammates whose careers have been shaped by this effort, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, thank you for your partnership, and thank you for believing in the mission from the very beginning. So as we head into the final part of this year's National Signing Day, I'd like to revisit a message from one of the strongest champions of the Talent Pipeline program. Over the past 3 years, Command Master Chief Jeff Hiscox has been a tremendous advocate and supporter of the program. He played a key role in establishing the TPP sponsorship program and strengthening leadership engagement across the Navy, helping create the foundation that has allowed this movement to grow. Last year, CMC Hiscox delivered a message that captured what this program is really about: people. When men and women who choose to step up into new opportunities, learn new skills, join great teams, and contribute to something bigger than themselves. He reminded us that these individuals aren't simply starting a new job, they're joining a mission that depends on skilled workers, strong teams, committed leaders, and a culture of excellence. As you watch this message, I encourage you to think about the thousands of new hires represented in this room and across the country, because the message you're about to hear is just as relevant today as it was a year ago. Please turn your attention to the screen as we hear once again from Command Master Chief Jeff Hiscox.
Well, first, let me say congratulations to all of the new hires this year and all the employers that made the trip up here to DC. Thank you for making a choice that's more about something other than just a paycheck. You're stepping into a role that is essential to our nation's security, our prosperity, and our way of life. So most sports teams, they only require two things to really be successful. They need a playbook or a strategy. We've heard that tonight, run the play. Essentially, they need a guide on how to approach the objective, when to practice, those type of things. And the other thing they need is the supporting infrastructure. Why do I bring this up? Why does this matter? The Talent Pipeline program, its job is to work with many of the small teams, organizations, companies across the country that literally make up the larger defense industrial base and the maritime industrial base, and ensure that they are all on the same page. You know, following the same playbook, using the same strategy, following the same recipe. Now, is this the same strategy and the same recipe that we've used before? It is, right? If you look back to the 1930s and the 1940s, We scaled the industrial manufacturing industry to match the demand signal of our national security of the time. During that time, the world needed production of goods and products to support the defense and maritime industrial base so we could bring an end to the World War II. And the country answered that call. Today, we're asking to build this same team with about 50% reduction in what our industrial might was back in the 1930s and the 1940s, right? That's a lot of ingredients that are missing. That's a lot of teammates that are missing. That's like asking your offense, saying, hey, you're gonna play both ways and you're gonna play defense as well. The difference is we're swapping out some of those ingredients and we're bringing in some new stuff. We're bringing in things like robotics, cobotic welding, process improvement, lean manufacturing, additive manufacturing, 3D printing, all of the other things that allow us to scale at a faster rate and pace than roughly 85 years ago. So I get to give you a couple tips on how you all, whether you're the CEO, the supervisor, or just a new hire, how you can contribute to a winning team and a winning culture based on my experiences with some winning teams. The first lesson, listen before you act. In your work, listening is just as important. Listen to your teammates, listen to your supervisors, and listen to the details of the job at hand. When you listen first, you avoid mistakes most of the time, and you build trust. You become a better craftsman or woman and a stronger part of the team. The second lesson is patience and steady persistence. Building ships, submarines, aircraft, and munitions takes time and effort. There will be tough days, and there most certainly will be setbacks. And there also is going to be many, many challenges. The key to success in patience and steady persistence is showing up every day ready to do your part, no matter how small you may think it is. Your consistent effort, it adds up. Every weld, every rivet, every system you install brings that platform and or munition closer to being ready to defend our country. The third lesson is humility, the willingness to learn and to grow. Nobody knows everything, and the best workers or leaders are those who keep on learning. Technology and techniques change as we've seen. Just as we've seen the ingredients of this endeavor change over the course of 85 or 90 years, you'll be working with some of the most advanced systems and technology that we've ever built. Stay humble, stay curious, and keep developing your skills. Humility opens the door to mastery, and mastery builds pride. Finally, lead by example. You don't have to be a supervisor to lead. The way you approach your work, your attitude, your discipline, all of these set the tone for those around you. Those ships, those submarines, those aircraft carriers, the aircraft and the munitions carried by them, they don't build themselves, they don't maintain themselves, and they certainly don't operate without the steady support of the skilled and dedicated workers of you all and your companies in this room. Every weld you make, every panel you fit, every system you bring to life matters. You're not just building ships, submarines, aircraft carriers, aircraft and munitions. You're building America's shield. Your work is the reason our military can count on their ships, submarine, aircraft, and munitions to perform when we ask them. I want you to think about the legacy that you want to leave inside your company, the type of team that you want to be associated with, and the culture within that team. Your work matters not just today, but for decades to come. You are joining a workforce that has stood the test of time from World War II to today's advanced naval operations. Whether you're fitting pipes, wiring electronics, or welding steel, you're part of that warrior ethos and that winning culture, and that is what sets us apart from our adversaries. So to all of you who are about to begin this journey, and to those we celebrated tonight and those we have celebrated in Philly, Pittsburgh, Long Island, Boston, Hampton Roads, Southern California, and the rest of the Enterprise Plus locations, be proud of what you have accomplished. You're not just joining an industry, you are joining a mission. You are the secret sauce. You are the winning culture that allows this mission to be successful. Thank you for your commitment, your skills, and your dedication. We're proud to have you on this winning team where we heard it in the video. Our motto is one team and one fight. Thank you.
While CMC couldn't be here with us in person tonight, I'd like to take a moment on behalf of the entire Talent Pipeline program team to simply say thank you. Over the past 3 years, Jeff has been much more than a supporter of this program. He's been a champion, an advocate, a trusted advisor, and a friend. His leadership helped strengthen the connection between the Navy and our employer partners. His belief in this mission helped shape much of what we celebrate today. CMC, thank you for everything you've done for this program, for the employers and teammates it serves, and for the countless people whose lives have been impacted by your leadership. As you begin your next chapter in Kings Bay, we wish you and your family fair winds and following seas. Thank you for believing in this mission and helping us build something that will continue to make a difference for years to come. So, tonight, we've celebrated thousands of new hires, hundreds of employers, and countless success stories. What we don't always see are the people working behind the scenes to make success possible. The facilitators who share best practices and guide implementation, particularly the ones that have been with us from the very beginning. John Radigan, Pat Hershkowitz, thank you guys for being here. The educators and training providers who prepare the next generation of talent. The workforce organizations and economic development partners who help connect opportunity to people. And the dedicated professionals from the Submarine Industrial Base Program Office who continue to champion this mission across the nation. Together, these partners have helped create opportunities and for thousands of Americans, strengthening the workforce that supports our nation's security. If you've served in one of these roles, please stand and be recognized. Come on, I see you all out there. Thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and your belief in this moment.
So the next part of the program comes from decades of ceremony within the military. Whenever we have a change of command in the military, it's always done in front of the troops or the team, so that we understand that there's a positive handoff of mission and responsibilities. So this evening, or this afternoon, I guess still, we're going to have our change of command ceremony for the program leader for this program. So please welcome Trish Bartow to the podium.
Thank you, Bruce. Good afternoon. My name is Tricia Bartow, and I will be officiating at today's Talent Pipeline Program Change of Leadership ceremony, representing the outgoing program leader, Joe Bartow, as he is relieved by the incoming program leader, Kevin Bartow. For those who do not know, Joe is recovering from some recent surgery, and he has asked me to represent him in my roles as co-owner of TMG, wife to Joe, and mom to Kev. TMG is a proud, family-run, veteran-owned small business that is making such an amazing impact on our country, the defense of our nation, and our way of life. We do this by coaching, training, and encouraging other small and medium-sized businesses to stabilize their team, improve their business performance, and provide more industrial capacity to our great nation. So the following words are from Joe Bartow. Today is how the entire TPP team encourages each other and recognizes each person's contribution. Every time we come together to share, learn, and grow, we feel the power of the Talent Pipeline program, especially now as we celebrate 5 years and create the bow wave to propel TPP into the future. As our leader, Matt Sermon, says, TPP is just what we do. Through all the uncertainty of the last year or so, the senior Navy leadership knows that TPP is doing what it does and contributing directly to our national defense by supporting small and medium-sized employers who are so often ignored. TPP just executes and gets it done. TMG is privileged to lead the Talent Pipeline program. TPP is a program of yes. We help leaders who want to lead a high-performance team. We give leaders the courage to lead. If you want help and are willing to do something different in your talent acquisition and retention system to improve your production capacity for the Navy, then TMG will come to you, understand you, and support you. Coach, train, encourage, and recognize. One relationship, one employer, one job, one lifelong, productive, engaged teammate at a time. For the last month or so, I have spent a great deal of time sitting in various healthcare waiting rooms. While waiting in one across on the wall was a sign that read, "People don't care what you know until they know how much you care." This should be the TPP motto. What makes TPP special is how much we care about the 618 employers who trust us to help them. That is the special sauce. At the end of the day, TPP is a supplier development program that recognizes a simple truth. Without a stable and productive team, no company can grow profitably, mature, and increase production through capital investment alone. We wish it was that easy. There are no silver bullets. For the last 24 years, I have led TMG in achieving consistent, perfect performance. Say that 5 times fast. Perfect does not mean everything goes perfectly. It means teams that take the time to share and teach a common vision and mission, build a plan, execute a plan, adapt conditions as conditions demand, and continuously improve. Simply put, it means do what you say you are going to do. Mission first, people always. TMG lives every challenge our partners live. We hear you, we understand you, and we learn as much from you as you learn from us. Since March 2021, I have had the privilege of leading the Talent Pipeline program, the culminating accomplishment of my career of service to our nation, which began with basic training on 25 June 1973 at Fort Dix, New Jersey, 54 years ago yesterday. God, he's old. As I transition to my new role of protecting, defending, and advancing the TMG brand, I look forward to taking 5 years of TPP experience to accelerate TMG's Talent Pipeline program under the banner of America's Talent Pipeline Program across the Department of the Navy, Department of War, and the American manufacturing economy. We have accomplished so much and have only just begun. As Simon Sinek says, for the last 24 years, TMG is playing the infinite game in the great tradition of American businesses, and we are winning by recognizing the realities of the marketplace and evolving while retaining our total commitment to the values that got us here. Today, I am relieved by Kevin Bartow, who has served as my deputy for the past year. He joined TMG in 2014 as an A teammate, which at TMG means doing anything for anyone at any time to help the team win and win big. He quickly rose up the ranks, serving as project leader and program manager for an increasingly large and complex programs. In 2022, he assumed duties as the founding TPP flag leader for Hampton Roads flag, culminating in the selection of, in 2025, as the TPP Deputy Program Leader. Kevin thinks hard, can sense patterns in people, focuses on the mission, values every person on the team, and leads by example. He understands that we operate in a complex environment as a team of teams that is both technically and tactically competent. It is important for you to understand the team Kevin will be leading. First, 618 employer partners, a team that will increase to 735 in 2026-2027 as we fully implement the growth and sustain strategy. In addition, there are 57 network coaches, 10 flag leaders, 8 TPP support staff, multiple organizations that fund TPP, 23 TPP Navy sponsors, training providers, and facilitators. It is a large, complex organization that has grown exponentially since 2021 from one Philly flag. For the last year, Kevin has been instrumental in navigating the Navy realignments, and the TPP team has emerged better and stronger on the other side, while most importantly, making all those Navy internal changes invisible to the 618 employer partners who rely on the TPP experience. TPP is a constant, and we will retain the integrity of the TPP model as we continue to grow. While some things change, others remain the same. My charge to Kevin is to continue making the TPP statement not of what we know, but of how much we care about the small and medium-sized employers who agree to be the TPP employer partners and strive to stabilize their teams, run a better business, and support America's manufacturing demand. Our employers do not care what we know until they understand how much we care and how much we care about each other. Caring for each other is the engine for the TPP performance. So without further ado, attention to orders. Effective 26 June 2026, the undersigned assumes leadership of the Talent Pipeline Program. Effective immediately, he is responsible and accountable to everything the Talent Pipeline Program does or fails to do. Kevin M. Bartow, Program Leader, Talent Pipeline Program. Congratulations. Congratulations, and don't screw it up. Proceed knowing that your team and I will always have your back. This is your time. Mr. Sermon, I stand relieved. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Bartow, Program Leader, Talent Pipeline Program.
Thank you. I am truly honored and humbled. I also know that I'm standing between you and a drink, so hang in with me and we'll get there soon. As I close, I want to come back to where we started, as a nation. As we approach July 4th and the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, I've been reflecting on what our founders were experiencing in the days leading up to the signing of the Declaration of Independence. 250 years ago today, they were preparing to sign a document that would forever change the course of history. It was more than words on paper. It articulated a vision of freedom, self-government, and human dignity that would shape a young nation and influence generations far beyond their own. They were not simply declaring independence. They were expressing confidence in a future that they would never fully live to see. They could not know what America would become. They could not see how the story would unfold. But they understood that future generations would be shaped by the decisions that they made in that moment. Only 56 men ultimately signed the Declaration of Independence, but they signed on behalf of millions and risked everything they had. They pledged, as the Declaration concludes, our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Their courage reminds us that history is often changed not by crowds, but by a small group of committed people willing to take responsibility for the future. At the same time, George Washington was 10 days into his tenure as the commander of the Continental Army and beginning the difficult work of transforming a collection of volunteers into a force capable of securing that vision. What he inherited was not a finished organization. It was a collection of people with tremendous potential, but without the systems, standards, structures, or leadership required to sustain success. Washington understood that victory would not come from individual acts of heroism alone. It would come from building capability, from developing people, establishing standards, growing leaders, and creating a system capable of accomplishing a mission larger than any one individual. The authors of the Declaration provided the vision. Washington built the capability. Today, we have inherited a similar responsibility. Not to build an army, but to build the systems, leaders, and teams that will sustain our nation's industrial strength for generations to come. The good news is, we're not starting from scratch. We stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us. 54 years ago, a man took an oath to uphold and defend that same Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. 48 years ago, a woman, whether she knew it or not, took a vow to support that oath. 24 years ago, those two took a bet on themselves and the American dream and built the organization that you see today. Their legacy of service to their country, family, and their team is the foundation that will drive this organization forward. Over the last 5 years, that vision, this team, our employer partners, facilitators, sponsors, workforce partners have built something extraordinary. Matt, I think this is the 8th time. Together, you have helped almost 21,000 Americans begin meaningful careers while strengthening the industrial base that supports our nation's security. That happened because people chose to lead. People chose to own the problem, and people chose to invest in other people. Together, we have demonstrated that workforce challenges are not simply hiring challenges. They are leadership challenges, they are systems challenges, and they can be solved when leaders choose to own the problem and invest in their people. What began with 36 employers in a single region has grown into a national movement of more than 600 employers and thousands of hires. We have proved that this model works. And because we have proved that this model works, we now have an opportunity, more an obligation, to build upon that foundation. Today, I'm excited to announce the next chapter in this journey, America's Talent Pipeline Program. America's Talent Pipeline Program is not a replacement for what we have built. It is the natural evolution of it. Built upon TMG's team performance improvement model and the lessons that we have learned over the last 5 years with the U.S. Navy Talent Pipeline Program, it provides a framework for employers, workforce organizations, educational institutions, industry associations, and government partners to unite around a common mission: building the workforce America needs for the future. Simply put, we are taking what works and making it available to more organizations, more industries, and more communities. Because the workforce challenges facing our nation do not stop at the shipyard gate. They exist across manufacturing, defense, energy, healthcare, technology, and countless other sectors critical to America's future. The leaders before us built the foundation. Our responsibility is to build the capability required for the future. And that future will not be built by facilities. It will not be built by technology alone. It will be built by people. People who choose to lead, people who choose to serve, and people who choose to invest in others. As I assume responsibility for leading this organization, my commitment to all of you is simple. I will work every day to honor the trust placed in me, support this incredible team, and ensure that the Talent Pipeline Program continues to grow, improve, and serve the mission that has brought us all here. The next chapter has already begun. And if the last 5 years have taught us anything, it's that there is no limit to what can happen when leaders have the courage to lead, teams align around a common purpose, and people remain at the center of the mission. So let us continue building, let us continue investing, let us continue developing leaders, strengthening organizations, creating opportunities for the next generation of Americans. Because the true measure of success will not be what we accomplish in our time. It will be what continues to grow because we were here and we chose to act. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your commitment to this mission. I'm honored to serve alongside you as we continue building something that matters. Mission first, people always. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Kevin. So as we come to the conclusion of this story in Act 4, the true heroes of this story are you, the employers, the workforce partners, our Navy leaders, our facilitators, our network coaches, and our new hires who have made this movement possible. Thank you all for being the Talent Pipeline Program. Now I'd like to ask you all to rise for the departure of the official party. As we conclude this evening, we invite you to continue the conversations, reconnect with old friends, meet new teammates, and celebrate everything that has been accomplished together. Enjoy the afternoon and evening, enjoy the company, and continue building the relationships that make this work possible. We'll see you all at the reception.
But now we just had one person that was good.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. Everything, yeah.